Welcome to the Indian Sun. I'm Indira Laisram. We're talking today about Manipur, the northeastern state of India, which is entering its fifth month of conflict. So far, 187 people have died and some 60,000 displaced in a state of 3.3 million. Joining me is Rohan Philem, a resident of Manipur who has personally felt the impact of this violence. Just to give you a bit more insight into Rohan, he turned his love for cycling into a mission for change. Despite facing challenges, he initiated Cycling for Humanity with a group of like minded people. Together, they've addressed significant issues like pollution, drugs, and provided assistance to the homeless during the COVID-19 pandemic. And in these troubled times, Rohan is doing his bit to bring about some positive change. Thank you so much, Rohan, for your time with the Indian Sun. You're a social activist and you call yourself a proud Meitei Christian. To begin with, can you give us, for the benefit of our audience, an overview of the situation in Manipur and the ongoing conflict between Meiteis and Kukis?
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I'm Rohan Philem. I'm a Meitei Christian from the Meitei community. And we call ourselves as a very proud Meitei Christian. The conflict which is happening right now in Manipur is, according to us, not just as me, but to as a whole for the Meitei Christian, is between only the Meiteis and the Kuki communities. Because if we look at the persecution, we call the Christian persecution that when the non-believers come to the believers, we call it that persecution. But though we have been facing that for a very long time, but what we are seeing right now in Manipur is that Meiteis are fighting with the Kukis, and Kukis are also fighting with the Meitei. So it's purely an ethnic and a communal fight. And also some people term this as a indigenous people fight with the non-indigenous also. Sometimes people term this as a fight with the government and the non-indigenous people also. So it's a very different narrative and a very different perspective from many of the intellectual levels. So according to us as a Meitei Christian, we see this as a very big threat to our indigenous people from the angle of narco-terrorism also. So I can broadly say that this is more of like a 3 points. It's a fight of illegal immigrants also. Secondly, can be termed as a narco-terrorism also. And thirdly, this is a fight between the indigenous and non-indigenous people.
Okay. And can you tell me something about your personal experiences and how that how you look at it, from what you have experienced?
Yeah. Let me just start by mentioning an incident of 2021 in the month of April. I was invited by one of a very reputed tribal student organization to come at Moray on the humanity ground to help the refugees. So that time I was running a campaign called Feeding the Hungry campaign where I was feeding those people who were affected by the corona. And I got an invitation from this reputed student organization of tribals, and so I went there. And that was the time when the junta rule was going on, junta army was going on at Myanmar. So a lot of Kuki Chin, the brothers and sisters came running all the way from the Chin areas to Moray. And I could see with my own eyes like how they were scattered in the town of Moray. And that time I didn't had all these things would be happening. So on a humanity ground, like I was helping around some few thousands of people by buying milk and nutritionist foods for the kids and baby also. So this was like one very proof that there is already a big presence of refugees from very long time back. And I really have a fear that now Moray there is no presence of any kind of Meiteis. So if the Kukichin people could come in that scale when Meiteis are there at Moray, I have a big fear that there would be at least big presence by now in the town of Moray, because border itself is also a very porous border, and I believe so that there is already big presence of refugees. Secondly, like I have also known many of the villages in Manipur which are poppy cultivated right now. And this is the month of September, and this is a poppy harvesting season. So sometimes I jokingly invite all my Christian brothers who have been speaking from the other states of India that I really do appreciate your concern for the Christians, but I would really appreciate you more if you fly all the way to Manipur Even we can give you the vehicles and we can give you the money for fuel. We can, reimburse you the charges for the travel. You please go to at least 15 villages. We will term you. It's in Chandel, it's in Kangpokpi. We can tell you. If you are really concerned about the Christian, you please go to those villages, get all the videos and reports of how the harvesting seasons are going on right now at Kangpokpi and Chandel, and even might be in Singhar and Churchandpur side. There would be many things happening. So, if that can be properly reported, that how the church or how the, there's a Christian community of the Kuki brothers and sisters are involved in all this drug business, it would be very, really appreciable for the Meitei Christians in the other Christian community to know what is the truth behind what is it really happening in Manipur.
So, from your personal experiences, you are saying that there is a huge influx of refugees, poppy cultivators, and all of that, something that, of course, the Kukis vehemently deny. Now, you are a Christian and you talk about the threat to Christians, Meitei Christians. And for speaking out against Kuki Christians, are you getting a lot of flack or facing criticism?
Yes, so ma'am, actually, if we look to the Christian terminology, the persecution of Christian has been a very, a good subject for me, because like I have been facing that for 14 to 15 years, because it's about the faith perspective. Like I come from a very, I would say not a radical, but like we call it in our own term as the Sagegi Piba, which is like our, local god of my clan. Like we are the honor of that god. We are the honor house of that god. So my grandfather and my uncle has kicked me out when I was in the 10th standard for following Christianity. I mean, from a very different perspective though. And I've been facing persecution for the past 14 years. Having said the fact that now my family gives me a lot of respect for what I have been through with all the Christianity thing. And facing persecution from the non-Christian or the other religious group is a very common subject for us. In fact, though, we get a lot of arguments and threats. But it is very surprising this time that being a Christian, though, and for speaking out the truths, like I would reveal you some of the shocking facts. 200 around some 50 churches being burned by the non-believers, and that was known to the entire world. But a church, specifically a church, I would say the numbers are more, but we don't want it to go more further. So 8 churches were also being vandalized, were being also some of them were also being burned down, some of them were also being demolished for the Meitei Christians by the Kuki Christians. So that was another very, very shocking and new concept for us, that we're getting threats from the Christian itself for speaking out the truth. And for speaking out that particular data of that a church, I've been getting, yes, a lot of threats from the Kuki communities, being though we are one in Christ, we belong to the same, faith. And I've been speaking out this truth because the truth has to be known to the entire world. I
So
mean, we can't
basically,
just.
yeah, so basically it means that, they are not looking at your religion, but they're looking at your ethnicity and attacking you because you're Meitei and you happen to be Christian, right? Right?
Yeah, I won't say more of the ethnicity, but again, I feel I'm getting threat because I'm speaking out the truth.
Okay. So no, but I want to understand if that is not the reason, then why are they attacking you? I'm sure they're attacking you because you're a Meitei and the Christian your
Yes, yes,
religion
yes.
happens to be second thing.
Yes, because yeah. Now I'm going to tell you another more interesting fact. 200 more than 200 Meitei Christian families from Sisipur and More, and I would say from parts of Sero and Sugunu, Laikong. I'm specifically telling you all the places.
Mm.
More than 200 Meitei Christian houses were burned down
Mm.
by the Kuki Christians for the Meitei Christians. Chorchanpur being a city or a town that the Meitei Christian has been longing to see, because we see a lot of Christian perspective. That safest town that we perceive for the Meitei Christian, those houses for the Meitei Christians, for those Christians who have stayed there for almost 40 to 50 years, Their houses were burned down, pastors' houses were burned down, quarters were burned down, and we could hear testimonies from the pastors and church members how even Bibles and materials related with Christianity were burned down. So it was really very shocking that, seeing an attack from the another Christian majority Christian community to the minority Christian community.
So if I take away the Christian identity from you, how then
Yeah.
does it reflect, the complex dynamics of this whole thing?
It is purely between the Meiteis and Kuki. That's it. Whatever has belonged to the Kukis, has been attacked by the Meiteis, and whatever has belonged to the Meiteis has been attacked by the Kuki. Yet it be Meitei Christians or yet it be the Meitei Hindus or whatsoever. It's already been attacked. And I would always say both sides are equally attacked. Both sides are equally affected. You can't just go with one narrative. When the world has been discussing about the vandalization of the churches, also, I condemn it, being myself a Christian, but also ethnically being myself belonging to the Meitei community. Also, we should discuss about the perspective of 393 mandirs. We call it Sagai Gilai, Sagai Ngakpal Lai. There are many small mandirs for around 20 to 30 houses in the periphery area that we have one God who guards, the 20, 30 houses of that specific area.
Yeah.
Counting all
Yeah,
those
I know.
numbers.
Yeah, we've talked about, and I think we've talked about this. It's the fact is both churches were destroyed and both temples were destroyed, right? Now, and you've talked about this huge animosity from the Kuki Christians towards the Meitei Christians, but then at the same time, you have recently talked about both Kuki and Meitei church leaders coming forward. How do you think coming forward to hold peace talks or for some form of reconciliation? How do you think that will happen, given that there is so much of animosity between the two?
I'm telling this by the, I'm telling this with the, wisdom of God, that there are very few leaders who are actually ready for this kind of initiative and having authority from my spirit. Though I'm telling that I might be not the first one, but I might be also one of the one who has openly announced in the national papers to initiate the start of peace talk. Having said that, this is not the first time I've been speaking. I've been speaking this many a times, a couple of times already, and the response from the Kuki brethren is very poor. Not because that they don't want peace, but they are getting threats from the other authorities, like might be the UG groups and the infiltrators, and I don't know, from different aspects. So right now, I feel like the power or the authority of the church council has been also being very suppressed. We could receive a lot of Christian missionaries visiting Manipur and visiting both the Meiteis and the Kuki communities. And as far as the response that we have been requesting, the response has been very poor. So one latest organization who came to Manipur was the Nagalim Churches Council from Nagaland. So with the All Manipur Christian Organization, we have started to at least initiate a talk of Kukis, the Meiteis, and the Nagalim Churches Council. All three of us might come together and initiate this peace talk as soon as possible. And I think a lot of unofficial talks has already been done inside in many part of Delhi and Kolkata and might be. But for an official talk in a church level, I feel like it is a very needful step for us to initiate it. But having said that, it should be an official one where it should be an open thing that yes, Rohan is also present. The pastor from that Kuki community also is also present and has already started this kind of initiative talk, and that should be the way how it should be brought out. And I'm expecting it as soon as possible.
Have you thought of a multi-faith initiative?
Yeah, the multi-faith initiative has already been taken place in Manipur. The Utkal, the Amko, the many Sanamahism group and the Hindu groups and the churches group. The interfaith thing has already been done in Manipur. I was not present in it, but people whom I know has been taking part in those activities, and I think there are good results coming up in that. So it will be an appeal for us and also from the interfaith group also not to, from this very moment, not to destroy any kind of religious places. Let it be the church, let it be the mandirs or temple, not to touch any kind of religious places in association or in relation with this war. That if you are attacking those things, do it plainly with an intention that it belongs to a community fight, not a religious thing. Yeah.
Somebody who's traveling in and to and from Manipur and to the rest of India now, but coming particularly to Manipur, how are things now?
um let me always put this in two narrative. I mean, I'm telling you by the facts and the figures and also with the news report. I feel like sometimes our national media is not reporting what is rightfully happening in Manipur. I mean, few days back when I flew to Manipur, a farmer got shot down in Naran Sena. He got injured, and then firing took place from both the sides. But it was never a headline. It was never a headline. Now I'm telling you, three militants, I would say, not civilians, three militants of the Kuki. Because why I'm calling them militants is that we have all the pictures, we have all the proof of those three people. One was a singer, I forgot his name. His video got viral in the entire of the social media where he was with arms and ammunition. He got killed with a gypsy. Why was a civilian driving in a gypsy? That is also $1 million question. Why is a civilian driving in a gypsy? And how could in an angle that any of the miscreant also could attack any of the civilian? Three people got killed from the Kuki community, and the entire of media is busy trying to make it an headline. I'm telling you to all the media fraternities, those three people were not civilian, those were militant, and three militant got attacked in a very normal fight, militant attack happening from both the sides. But when our farmer got attacked, it was never a headline. But when three militant from the Kuki community died because of an attack, which is a very normal thing for the war to be happening, people are trying to make that a headline. Our Maira Paibis, our Ima, and some of the villages got attacked in Palel from the Kuki militants. Whatever the Kukis has been attacking from the periphery area, our media and our national papers have never make it headline. But what a militant, died because of the normal attack which is happening between the two groups. People are trying to make it headline. So I would say the attack has always been from the, from the other side, from the Kuki communities, because like we are living only on the 10% of the area, which is the plain area. We're getting shot down from all the snipers and getting attacked from all the surrounding area. We're just living in a small pond, or I would say a small lake, where we are surrounded with a different perspective. One day we're getting attacked in the north side. One day we're getting attacked in the south side. How long is this going to continue? And people are busy playing this minority card and Christian card, going around to the entire world, shouting and crying and making all this play. I was recently at Bengal. Bengal people were busy trying to sort out donations and trying to make out donations for our Kuki brothers and sisters. I'm still calling them Kuki brothers and sisters. But the entire of the West Bengal was not aware that more than 10 families of the Bengalis were burned down by the Kukis. So when I was revealing them that, like, they were completely shocked. I said, like, if you want to come and help, please come to the ground level, sort out what is the truth, and then come and help out. We don't have any problem in helping the Kuki communities, but at least know the facts and figure. So I would say the condition of Manipur is not going well. If it has to, if it
Yeah, no, go
yes.
on.
Yeah, if it has to go well, then the government, the people of India should come and intervene and see how the arms and ammunitions are being brought from the neighboring countries, how this outer influx and outer influence is affecting the peace of Manipur. You call this a war between the Meiteis and Kuki? No, this is a war between India and the other outer influence and outer influx. This is going to be a national security threat. It is already a national security threat right now.
Yeah.
So I would say condition
Yeah,
of
I know,
Manipur
and you
is
are
not.
getting, yeah, and I think Mizoram is having a lot of ammunition which is being sort of, ferried from there. How do you think the common people are looking at the role of the government and its MLAs?
Okay. Let me put this way, because I'm an activist and I have been, having the life of an activist is that you always do things which the government is not doing. So, I had a really tough time in this past 5 to 6 years fighting and quarreling with the government. But I'm being very honest. Right now, I'm at a position where I don't want to, make any claims or accusations or make any kind of political statement with the government, because right now I have one priority. My first ultimatum priority is that I want to stand for my own, community, the Meitei community, the Meitei group. So I don't want to, divert my focus, rather than, keeping safeguarding my Meitei community and fighting from the outer influx, or rather to fight with the government or make it common with the government. So I would rather, blame the the central government, rather than making my blame on the state government, because like the state government's capacity is very small right now comparing to that of what is happening in Manipur. Yet it be a state matter. The state could have intervened a very long time back. But I think there is something fishy going on, which is happening between many unseen angles from the national government and the Kuki people also. I mean, so many things were revealed about the natural resources, vote bank, everything was revolved a few months back. And they have been using many cards. To Trump card was also being used. That's what we were, seeing when they were revealing about a vote bank and everything. So I would say people of Manipur is not really happy with the government. I'm being very honest. But having said this fact, the the people's representative should at least think not just twice, thrice. They should at least think once and see, will there be a government when my people are not there? Will there be a government when my people are affected? Is it really worth for me calling an MLA, or calling me a minister, or calling me the chief minister, when my people, when my own state, when my community are still yet being affected every day, like dogs and cats getting attacked in a street? And I was so shocked to hear this statement from one of a mother in Sugnu. When she saw me, she cried, because she knows that I've been a vocal for the people. And she said, Rohan, when you next time speak up to media, please tell this, that so that it might, reach the ears of the legislator. I've been met a refugee. I've been met a refugee in my own house, in my own Laikai, in my own community, where Sugnu is a place where it's been surrounded with several Kuki villages. I've been running here and there to the north and south. If not the government, people like you are not coming and saving us, who will save us? So it was
You're
a
from,
cry
yeah,
of a,
yeah. So you're from Moirang. Is your
yes.
area also affected?
I would say not that affected, but we are the starting zone where all the checkings, where all the checkings of the things are being done in the Moirang Lamkai. So that's the place where we sort out the way for Chorcha food also. So I would say it's not affected physically, but mentally everyone is affected, because like that is a zone where we start everything. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Rohan, my last question to you. Of course, you are a social activist. So, what is your vision for a peaceful coexistence between the Kukis and Meiteis, in Manipur? I think we well know we've really fallen into this abyss of hate. But what do you think can be done? Is there a possibility?
I've been shouting for peace since the 3rd of May. I was not vocal for at least a month till June. I was keeping completely silent. The very reason why I came out was to just, I was really shocked seeing just one narrative, one point of narrative, or one side of the story. So my appeal to bring peace is that people should go for the two sides of the story. People should accept both sides of the stories, that Kukis are also affected, the Meiteis are also affected.
But
So
that's
in
really
that,
but that's really easier said than done, isn't it? Right now, people are stuck to their own narratives, and there is a very, very a stubborn stance from both sides. So what do you think? How are you going to sort of, make a dent?
That's one of the most difficult thing that I've been also facing. I mean, see, being myself a Christian, like when I get talks, with the cookies or the pastors or any kind of groups, like they were, I won't take the names, but I spoke to a very reputed pastor from the cookie community, and I said, yes, pastor, I really condemned the burning of the churches. He was like, yes, that's what Rohan. And also I said, pastor, I'm also really, really shocked seeing burning of 8 churches and vandalization of 8 churches by the cookie, and also 393 mandirs by the cookie. He said, Rohan, I have a prayer meeting, and he hung up the call. I mean, you got the point, right? People are really stubborn accepting the other side of the story. I mean, we should accept that mandirs are also burned, churches are also burned, cookies also get attacked, Maitas are also getting attacked. Cookies are also affected, Maitis are also affected. When you go with this two narrative that, yes, we are not only the victims, the other side is also the victims, then we can, grind out both sides of the story, and at least that we can come to a common sense that, yes, this should be brought to an end. And that's how I think peace talk can also start. If you just keep on going with one narrative, no, Maitis are enjoying and my cookie people are always getting attacked. Definitely being also, if I consider myself also cookie, I will find it very hard to digest that fact. And also in the meantime, being born as a Meitei, if I keep on hearing only the Meitei side of the story, that cookies are living happily and Meiteis are getting affected, and I also find very hard to digest it. But now if you see both the narrative, then it is, I mean, okay for me to at least see for a middle part, I would say a middle part, or a middle stand where both communities can come and talk for a better solution, where one also agree and the another side also agree. And yeah, that's my only request.
Yeah, I know you. While you were talking, another question just came up to my mind, and this will be, of course, be the last. Because you're talking about Christianity so much, I just wanted to know whether this dual identity of being a Christian and a Meitei at this point of time really conflicts with your, larger sense of identity.
Mm,
Make it short.
see, yeah, in short, I'm putting it like, see, that I'm just putting it in one line. Okay, the threats that I'm receiving or the disturbances that I'm receiving for being a Meitei Christian from the Meiteis is very less right now, because moreover, the faith part is just a little part, more of like my community, or I'm being born as a Meitei, religion is my faith. That's it. Now I'm getting more of threats from the cookies. And in the faith perspective, I'm getting a lot of appreciation from the Meitei community, because I myself, being born up as a Meitei Christian, have been speaking for the rights of Meitei Christians a little, and also for my Meitei community. So I would say it's a little complex, but not much of disturbances right now. And I think more people from the Meitei Christian community should come up and speak for their own people, speak for their own rights, and also should stand for their own community.
Thank you so much, Rohan. We're all praying that peace returns to Manipur and that people like yourself, activists like yourself, keep working towards that end. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.